And well, this time of year, the Lucas County Health Department is pretty busy as many local restaurants are renewing their food licenses for the year. But what goes into that process and what does it mean for you when you go out to eat? Jillian Wilkie is here from the Health Department to explain. Thanks for being here today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So all of the restaurants in Lucas County that operate on a regular basis, this is the time that they have to renew.
This is the magical hour, yes. So,
wow.
And it's not just our restaurants. So any facility in our county that possesses a food license, for the most part, is renewing at this time. So that's your hospitals, nursing cares, schools, you name it, gas stations.
Places you probably didn't even consider.
Right.
So you're very busy going to all of these places because what exactly goes into renewing that food license?
So we send out a renewal mid-February. This went out. Everyone's, for the most part, getting back to us that they're receiving them in the mail now. So there's an application, and then they will send that back with their annual payment. And that's pretty much it for the renewal itself, which is pretty seamless. But sometimes it's, we might miss a dotted line here or a sign there, but there's just a lot of work with 3,000 applicants coming back to us that we have sent back.
Then make sure, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Absolutely.
Here. So, and you all have to go into these facilities, at least twice a year to check them out?
It depends on the actual facility, but your general restaurant, our mandate is typically at least 2 inspections a year.
And what you're looking to make sure that everything is safe and healthy for customers.
That is the goal, absolutely. Whether it be food is at the proper temperature, proper sanitation. We look at a lot of stuff. The food code is actually quite thick. But yeah, we're looking at a lot of different aspects. So it's a quick snapshot, but we're there every day. If it's not a nice paid holiday or something along those lines, but we're out there making you guys safe in the public.
Right,
sure.
right. It's important. Is there any business or that serves food or anything that would be exempt from having to get these renewals?
We have a few exemptions in the food code. There's not many. If you're selling food, you probably need a food license. But yeah, there are some exemptions, and they are very, very specific. So when we get people call us in all the time, like, I want to sell charcuterie, you probably need a license. But some people want to do baked goods. You might not need one. So
okay.
it is very, very important if you're interested in selling food that you do call us, and we can kind of give you the proper guidance on what would be required.
Okay. What about food trucks? Because I feel like that has become so popular within the last 5 years with the pandemic
Absolutely.
And everything. So how do they play into this?
Food trucks are no different. They're selling food. They do require a license. It's a little different than a brick and mortar's license. And I know, most people aren't probably seeing a food license when they go into a restaurant. They are to be posted, but not necessarily conspicuously. That's the case on a food truck. But the difference being, food trucks, we actually look at the back of their license to make sure that their menu is not different than what they've been approved to use, because these are special. These licenses allow the truck to go anywhere in the state of Ohio. So if you're in Wood County and you've been licensed in Lucas County, those inspectors need to know what's okay for you to be offering for sale. So a little different. But
interesting.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense, though. You're like, this is what I'm saying I'm going to be selling. And you're like, okay, well, you got to stick to that because you're traveling all over the place.
And the equipment and whatnot. So there's a whole diagram on the back of that license that gives us, the inspectors, a little more information that's needed in that case. But yeah, I mean, if you're selling food, anyone from the general public should be able to ask to see a food license. They should have it available to show you. And it's just a small little half sheet, and it'll say, either a food service operation, retail food, mobile food. We have temporary food licenses. There's a lot out there, but in general, most likely if you're selling food, you should have one of those on you. And if you don't, then you may not want to necessarily eat there.
Right. And that was what I was going to say. This is important for consumers and for the general public. Why is it so important that these business owners keep up on this?
Well, and truly, it's not hard to make people sick. I mean, more and more people probably see things about, unfortunately, larger widespread outbreaks. McDonald's recently had one, and thankfully, it did not affect us here locally. But things can definitely go wrong, and if you're not having that check, that fee that they're submitting to us now, that pays for my salary. We're not taxpayer-based. Those are paying for your inspectors to go out, and Lucas County has 12 food inspectors for essentially, those 3,000 places that have licenses.
That you have to visit twice a year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yep. Some places only get one visit, but yeah, and for the majority, we're hitting a lot of places in only so many days. So we want to make sure everyone is eating safe food in this community. It's very, very important. We don't want people getting sick.
Because then they have to call the health department again. And that's a whole other part of the health department. But in the meantime, people can see those inspections on your website. That's
Absolutely.
public, so people can check them out. If you are thinking, I want to eat at this place, I'm not sure, you can go check them out on our website.
They can visit us at www.lucascountyhealth.com. There should be on our actual interface the tab at the top that says food safety. And it should take you to inspections, and from there you kind of navigate to pretty much anything
Whatever
that we've
you
been
wanna
in.
see.
That's right.
Very good. Well, thanks for coming and explaining the process
You're very
today.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
And keeping us all safe so we can eat freely. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.